The Oklahoma City Thunder fall for the seventh straight time, this time losing to the Houston Rockets. However, they're done playing the Rockets for the year. It feels like every single day we're talking about the Thunder and Rockets playing, but this is Locked On Thunder, your daily podcast about the Oklahoma City Thunder on the Locked On Podcast Network. Subscribe for free across all platforms, including the new platform on YouTube. And on today's show, we're going to dive into the Thunder losing this game despite SGA's incredible night and despite Drake being in attendance tonight. All that and more coming up on today's show.
You are Locked On Thunder, your daily Oklahoma City Thunder podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Let's get it going on the Locked On Thunder podcast, on Locked On Podcast Network, your teams every day. I am your host, Rylan Stiles. You can follow me on Twitter at Rylan_Stiles. It's at RYLAN_STILAS. You can follow the show on Twitter at LOThunderPod. Email the show, LOThunderPod@gmail.com. On today's show, brought to you by Shopify, we will dive into the Oklahoma City Thunder tough loss to the Houston Rockets as the team collapsed in the final moments of this game despite SGA dropping 39 points, despite Drake being there for some reason, and Tre Mann getting his first start because Josh Giddey missed this game due to the flu, and so much more. The show, again, is brought to you by Shopify. It's the one platform that you need to start, run, and grow your business, scaling your business in a journey of endless possibilities. So start now at shopify.com/LockedOnNBA, all lowercase, Shopify.com/LockedOnNBA. Game overview. What we always do is we're going to start here with Josh Giddey being out with the flu, as was Derek Favors out with the flu. Kenny Hustle out with an ankle injury. That trio is projected to be out tomorrow as well against the Memphis Grizzlies. So keep that in mind as we move forward. Mike Muscala was out tonight with an ankle injury. He was a late scratch in the last game on Monday with the same injury. It lingered into today. Unsure about his status for tomorrow. Vid Krejci and Gabriel Deck were both recalled this afternoon due to these injuries, but they did not play in this game. John Wall, Jalen Green, DJ Augustine, and Usman Garuba is out for the Rockets. They also only saw 9 minutes from Christian Wood and 13 from Kevin Porter Jr. The Thunder had a starting lineup of SGA, Lou Dort, and Tre Mann, who got the start in place of Josh Giddey, Darius Bazley, and Jeremiah Robinson-Earl. The Rockets started with Eric Gordon, Kevin Porter Jr., and Garrison Matthews, along with Jayshawn Tate and Christian Wood. So how in the world did the Thunder lose this game? They dropped their 7th straight game, and things are not looking good right now for this Thunder team in the win-loss column. Well, the Thunder had a 15-point lead in the second half, and they lost it. The Thunder shot 47% from the floor. Houston, though, shot 50% from the floor. And the big trouble comes whenever the Thunder shoot 25% from three, and Houston shot 40% from beyond the arc. Houston made 86% of their free throws. Oklahoma City made 75% of their free throws. And as I've said all along the season, when they lose the fast break battle, they oftentimes lose the game. They lost that battle 7-4 in this one. Second chance points goes to OKC, 16-15. Points in the paint, OKC wins 62-50. OKC out-rebounded the Rockets by 2. They won the turnover battle by 5. This game was tied twice and 3 lead changes. The Thunder lose their 7th straight with a quick turnaround, though, playing tonight against the Memphis Grizzlies. Just a hard game to swallow for the Thunder. Had this game right there to snap that losing streak, but they're done with the Rockets for the year before the calendar truly gets into December. It's only December 2nd, and this team no longer plays the Rockets this year. Pretty weird kind of scheduling quirk there to play all 4 of them before the break. Big things is that, number one, Drake showed up to this game for some unknown reason. The world-renowned rapper and Canadian Drake was here and just was chilling courtside in OKC for a game between 2 of the worst teams in the Western Conference. I don't get it. I don't understand it. After the game, SGA and Lou Dort ran up to him and got a hug and chat with him for a little bit. And Jerry and SGA confirmed post-game with us that it was random. Nobody knew he was showing up. Drake just randomly walked into the Paycom Center and took a seat courtside, did not give SGA a heads up, did not give Lou Dort a heads up, did not give Jerry a heads up. Nobody knew. Mark didn't know. Mark said there's no way that Drake knows him. But I don't know. Make of what you will. I mean, I know that there's a contingent that thinks it's very cool and a contingent that thinks it's going to be like a tampering issue with the Raptors, as he's a Raptor ambassador for that organization. And, of course, trying to woo over the two Canadians to go north of the border. I don't know. I think that it's interesting. I don't know how important it is, but it was really fun to see Drake show up to downtown Oklahoma City for a random December 1st game between two really bad teams that has nothing to do with Toronto and nothing to do with anything in general. Just kind of an unassuming game that Drake decides to pop into. He must have been kind of bored tonight, I guess. SGA, though, was the bigger story than Drake. He dropped 39 points. He really had it going tonight. And he kind of sparked himself back up, starting out with the mid-range is where he kind of did most of his damage at that elbow area and creating for himself in the mid-range. Had some nice slithery finishes at the rim. Finished over like three guys at a time because the Rockets just had to try to collapse on him and cut him off on his drives. Shot 46% from the floor. Did go 1 of 8 from three. Still not there from beyond the arc, but 46% from the floor, considering what he's been coming off of the last few weeks in these rough stretches, is really good. A career high 26 shot attempts, a career high 16 free throw attempts. He made 14 of them. He made some tough finishes. He was splitting the defense. He played a very special game tonight. Tonight was another game where you got that feeling, watching him that he can be someone who takes this franchise to the next level, somebody who takes his team to the next level, and somebody who can be an all-star and an all-star starting caliber player, moving up that pecking order as you get down the line. Now, he has to put this together consistently. He has to find a stroke from beyond the arc, but he did things tonight that stars do. And it's a shame the Thunder could not win this game, with him, for him tonight. But it was really nice to see him back in the groove, especially in the mid-range and especially creating for himself and creating that offense. He made some incredible passes tonight and just was not rewarded. 2 assists tonight, but that did not mean he didn't pass the ball well. He's passed the ball very well. It's a Josh Giddey type special for him in this game. I think that with SGA, he was a point guard tonight. He tried his best to facilitate an offense. He tried his best to get downhill and attack, and things just don't go your way whenever you're a young team and a team with this roster construction. As this team gets flushed out, gets better players, gets improved, things will look a lot better and a lot like this more often for SGA and the rest of this team. I think that with SGA, I don't know if he's going to get the starting nod. I don't know if he's going to get the all-star nod this year because he had a slow start and he had a rough patch. Whenever you're on a team like this, that's going to be dreadful and it's going to be bottom 3 in the Western Conference, at the time of the All-Star break especially, you cannot afford that rough patch. You have to play a perfect game, a perfect season up until the All-Star voting to truly get in. Now, I know that we're all going to rally around him and we're all going to vote for him and try to push for him to get to that All-Star game. But because of that stretch against Miami and against Brooklyn and that tough stretch, I don't know if he's going to be able to do it in a tough Western Conference. But in general, despite him possibly not being on the All-Star team, he's still playing with an All-Star player again tonight and hopefully moving forward. He's had those moments throughout this season. But again, it's just hard to get in whenever you have all those other factors working against you. Tonight for the Thunder was a true game of this team's very young, this team lacked depth, and they couldn't close out and play 48 full minutes. Now, the Rockets are very young. The Rockets lack depth, and the Rockets found a way to piece together 48 minutes. But the Rockets had their lulls in the first half. They had a strong close to the third quarter and a strong fourth quarter. And sometimes it's better to have your lulls early than late, and that's what happened tonight whenever the Rockets and Thunder got together. Now, coming up, we still need to dive into Trey Mann's first start of his career. Lou Dort got back on track offensively. Jerry was very good, and then there's a ton of Baisley frustration with some Poku questions that need to be answered tonight. But first, I want to say right now about our good friends over at Shopify. Shopify is incredible, folks. It really is. I love the sound of Shopify because it sounds like money. It sounds like increasing your business. It's the sound of another sale at Shopify. It's an all-in-one commerce platform to start, run, and grow your business. In case you do not know, Shopify is a complete commerce platform that lets you start, grow, and manage a business. The subscription-based software allows anyone to set up an online store and sell their products. Shopify store owners can also sell in a physical location using Shopify POS, our point of sale app, and accompanying hardware. Shopify gives entrepreneurs the resources once reserved for big businesses. So upstarts, startups, and established businesses alike can sell anywhere, synchronizing online and in-person sales and effortlessly staying informed. Scaling your business is a journey of endless possibilities, and Shopify helps you make your entrepreneurial dreams come true. So you will not want to miss this. I love Shopify, and it has the tools and resources that make it easy for any business to succeed from down the street to around the globe. Shopify powers over 1.7 million businesses from first sale to full scale, reaching customers online and across social networks with an ever-growing suite of channel integrations and apps, including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and more. It allows you to gain insight as you grow in detail reports from conversation and conversion rates and profit margins and beyond. So go to Shopify.com. That's Shopify.com/LockedOnNBA, all lowercase. Shopify.com/LockedOnNBA, all lowercase, for a free 14-day trial and get access to Shopify's entire suite of features. Grow your business with Shopify today. That's Shopify.com/LockedOnNBA right now. Shopify.com/LockedOnNBA. Let's see right now also, our good friends over at TrueBill. Listen, folks, do you know why free trials renew without your consent? It's a business scam to get a scam out of you. Do not let these greedy corporations pocket your money. Download TrueBill to take control of your subscriptions. TrueBill is a new app that allows you to identify and stop paying for your subscriptions that you do not need, want, or simply forgot about. On average, people save $720 per year with TrueBill because companies make subscriptions harder to cancel. TrueBill makes it incredibly simple. Just link your accounts and TrueBill will connect your unwanted subscriptions in one tap, and they're going to cancel them in one tap. And with TrueBill, their concierge is there whenever you need them to cancel unwanted subscriptions, so you do not have to. We all know that there are moments where you think and hear something and think, you know what? I'll go ahead and try that. I'll go ahead and try the old subscription over here. I'll cancel it, be sure and diligent to cancel it whenever this trial runs out. But that trial can be a month long, and you forget to cancel it. You bought some package to watch one sporting event, and then all of a sudden now you're paying it for life. You don't want to do that. So help TrueBill help you and let them cancel your unwanted services. TrueBill has over 2 million users and helps them save $100 million. Do not fall to subscription scams anymore. Start canceling today at TrueBill.com/LockedOnNBA. Go right now to TrueBill.com/LockedOnNBA. It can save you thousands a year. That's TrueBill.com/LockedOnNBA. We are back on the Locked On Thunder Podcast, on the Locked On Podcast Network, your teams every day. Thank you for listening to Locked On Thunder each and every morning. We are here for you every single day. Subscribe for free across all platforms. Wednesday, we had our Reddit mailbag episode. It was a lot of fun. You guys enjoyed it very much. Tuesday, we had our Rockets recap episode, and then Monday, we recapped the Thunder weekend that was. Today, we're recapping the game against the Houston Rockets, and make sure you go check out Locked On Sooners and Locked On Pokes for your second listen. You're probably a fan of either OU or OSU if you're listening to this podcast, and they both have important weeks ahead. For the Sooners, trying to hire a new football coach, and for the Pokes, of course, in the Big 12 title game with a chance to go to the college football playoffs. So make sure you go check them out. Do want to talk, though, about Tre Mann's first start. He was not overwhelmed. He looked very comfortable. Had some crafty finishes around the rim. He had this game starting out with a three. I mean, he just was in it immediately. 4 of 13 shooting, 2 for 7 from 3. None of these shots are truly forced. 11 points, 2 rebounds, and 3 turnovers. Now, I want to see how he builds on this. I can assume that he'll start tomorrow with Josh Giddey out again with the flu that Mark kind of made official in his pregame comments. I want to see what happens from here for Tre Mann, because he has the tools to be a really special scorer and a really good scorer. And we'll see how he progresses game to game. It's a difficult assignment. You get thrown into your first start unexpectedly. Josh Giddey was not on the injury report until the mid-afternoon period. That does not mean that Tre Mann didn't know, but he was not on the official report until the mid-afternoon. You get thrust into your first start unexpectedly. You know, who could have guessed that Giddey would have, the flu? And then it's on the first night of back-to-back, and you're going to have to play again in less than 24 hours after playing 32 minutes, a huge workload for you that you're not really used to in the NBA. And now you're playing again the next night. It's a tough assignment. It's a really tough assignment. So how does he go game to game? I don't want to kind of cast too much judgment on him in these 2 games he's going to start. But the offense looked really good for the first quarter, especially. And whenever those 5 guys were on the floor, the starting group, it was really, really good to see. And a lot of that was Trey Mann, a lot of that was SGA. So they deserve a ton of credit there. But it was also Lu Dort. Lu Dort had a really good offensive game. 19 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Dort had some really encouraging rim finishes where he's shooting a career high right now at the rim. He's shooting it by 8 percentage points coming into tonight. That will improve tomorrow as these stats get updated. But at the rim, he's having a career night. It's still not exactly where you want it to be, obviously, but it's getting better and better and better versus regressing, which it has so far in his career until this year, where he's kind of getting it back on track and getting it better than it ever has been. 36 minutes tonight, 4 of 8 from 3. His downtown shooting is stabilizing and is kind of showing a great side of his game. I think that with Lu Dort, if he continues to play this way, he's obviously a starter in this league for a long, long time, even whenever this team wants to be a playoff caliber team and a championship caliber team. He will be a starting level player on those caliber of teams. But Jeremiah Robinson-Earl, how can you not love this guy? He's so active. He's always on the glass. He's always moving. He's always rotating and relocating on both ends of the floor. JRE is a special find. Simply put, getting that in the second round, that value in the second round is incredible. Now, again, I want to caution the fact to go overboard with this, right? But just in a vacuum, second round pick turns into someone who is going to be in your 8-man rotation come playoff time whenever this roster is fully loaded. Great value, great return on investment. He's on a bargain contract for the start of his career. Great, fantastic. Like there's nothing more that Sam Presti could have done in the second round than to get Jerry. And you guys know how much that I love Aaron Wiggins as well. I think that Aaron Wiggins was a draft pick that got knocked out of the park as well at 55. I'm not sure that there's been very many picks in the 55 range that's been better than Aaron Wiggins so far in his career. Of course, Wiggins is a long ways to go. So we'll see how that all ends up after his two-way contract's up. But in this game, Jerry, 12 points, 4 assists, 9 rebounds, 55% from the floor. He was a really, really great role man to help out with SGA in that 2-man game. And SGA found him multiple times in that pocket pass range. I think that with Jerry, as long as he can become the type of shooter he was in Villanova, respectable. Doesn't have to be elite, doesn't have to be incredible, but respectable. With his ability to finish at the rim and pop out in those pick and pops, it spaces the floor so much for an offense, especially a second unit that even when your roster is where it wants to be, where you want it to be, will still need spacing. It's a great tool to have. It is going to benefit the Thunder long-term that they've invested in Jeremiah Robinson-Earl. I know he's starting right now, but you have to imagine as of now moving forward that the plan will be to supplant him from the starting 5 because you're going to cash in on these draft picks at the top of the draft, and you're going to make these trades for these top talents. And it has to move somebody out. And if we're going to say that Lu Dort's in there, we're going to say that SGA is in there and Josh Giddey's in there, that's only 2 spots left. And so with Jerry sliding him down to play that small ball matchup-based position would be fun to see long-term for his game. And he can handle it. He can be very versatile in that way. But I love everything that we're seeing about Jeremiah Robinson-Earl so far this year. It's exactly what you would expect out of his Villanova tape. And again, as long as he stays as a respectable 3-point shooter that you have to defend, or if you leave him open, he's going to punish you more often than not. He does wonders for this offense both this year and in the future. Speaking of the offense, Ty Jerome. I mean, he steps up big offensively as another spark plug, as this team is lacking depth. This team is losing 4 key pieces of their rotation, 4 guys who they depend on. They're losing them in this game. And Ty Jerome, 15 minutes, 5 of 7 shooting, 11 points to keep you afloat whenever you were struggling in that second half. Of course, it wasn't enough. Like the Thunder still didn't win this game, but it was not because of Ty Jerome. Ty Jerome played really, really well and helped you gain that spark back offensively and helped you in that area a great deal. Now, I do want to tell you about our good friends over at BetOnline.ag. BetOnline is your online sportbook experts. It has you covered for all sports with more prop bets and odds and lines than ever before. As football season continues to march toward the playoffs, BetOnline remains your number 1 spot for sport action this season. So head over to the new updated website and mobile site and sign up today and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. A 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit at BetOnline.ag. And you can use our code Locked On to get that bonus at BetOnline.ag. From basketball, football, NHL, boxing, UFC, and up to your favorite Vegas casino games, do not wait. Take advantage of these amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the funniest, fastest, and easiest way to bet on all of your sport action. BetOnline, where the game starts. We are back on Locked On Thunder Podcast, on Locked On Podcast Network, your teams every day. Thank you for making Locked On Thunder your first listen every single morning, every single day. We are here for you. For your second listen, after you subscribe for free on all platforms to Locked On Thunder and listen to it every single day, is Locked On Bets. I mentioned BetOnline.ag. Go over there right now, free account, and use the code Locked On for a 50% welcome bonus. But to make that money on Locked On Bets, go listen to Locked On Bets for making money on BetOnline.ag, because Locked On Bets is a daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs. Locked On Bets is hosted by your boy Q with expert analysis from Lee Sterling. It's free and available on all platforms. So they're on a hot streak right now. They're winning a ton of money over there each and every episode. So that means that you can be winning free money both with our promo code at BetOnline.ag and with the tips from Lee Sterling and your boy Q over there at Locked On Bets. So go over there and do that right now after this podcast is over. But have to talk about the Darius Bazley conversation. It's frustrating. I understand every fan's frustration about Bazley. 25 minutes tonight. He himself is visibly frustrated with himself, and I can assume himself, visibly frustrated with himself, and just kind of looks disinterested at times on the floor because after a few mistakes, he kind of checks out a little bit, it seems like. 4 points, 7 rebounds, an assist, a block, 3 steals in this game throughout those 25 minutes. And defenses just simply stopped defending him. They stopped guarding him in the fourth quarter. They did not put a player on him late in this game, collapsed and cut off SGA's drives, and made the entire offense stall, and that was your ball game. He becomes unplayable in these late game stretches in the fourth quarter, and he's in there for his defense, and the Rockets in the fourth quarter explode for 41 points. So I totally get the frustration. I totally get, why fans are kind of upset on Twitter, and he's not playing the way that he wants to play. He's not playing the way that, of course, the Thunder want him to play. It's just, at some point, you have to switch something up. And so, that I've defended Bazley since I took over this podcast before the bubble and after the bubble. And this entire season, I've defended Bazley. I still think, and I still believe that Bazley has potential. Bazley has upside. Bazley can be a truly good player in the NBA. But at some point, when you continue to get thrown out there night in, night out, and continue to fail night in, night out, at some point, you have to get a reset. You have to hit the reset button and just, kind of take a breath and kind of regroup yourself. And so maybe this long weekend off after this Memphis game will do him some good. But so far, there's not been signs of improvement offensively. And his defense is really good this year, and it does deserve a lot of credit, as I've said this entire time. But when you're in there for defense and the Rockets are still scoring 41 points in a quarter, why close with him at that point? Because the Rockets still had their way offensively, and the Thunder were harmed tremendously offensively in their own right. So why close with Poku in that sense? I still think that Poku should start. I still think that the Thunder are doing the right thing by investing in him and by continuing to believe in him and continuing to want to start him and give him time and grow his game, because he can be someone that's very good in the NBA. But in this specific instance, whenever you had this game and all you had to do is make some different adjustments down the line. I know the season's not about winning. I know the season is not about X's and O's. It's not about coming with victories. But this was a win that could really have boosted morale in terms of what happened whenever you blow a 15-point lead. No matter what the goals are of the season, blowing a 15-point lead is going to hurt the locker room for a day, or for an hour, or for 15 minutes, whatever it ends up being. Still, I'm not sure why you don't close this game with Pokusevski, who played really good tonight, or with anybody else. Now, again, the Thunder were down depth-wise, and maybe if they had Kenny Hustle, maybe if they had Mike Muscala, maybe if they had a Derek Favors, they wouldn't have closed this game with Darius Bazley. But it's a shame that it's gotten to a point where teams just are disrespecting Bazley, not defending him whatsoever, and he cannot make them pay. He cannot make up for it. And I still believe in building block Bazley, but it's frustrating and kind of undefensible right now. I mean, there's nothing you can say about Bazley's game besides his defense that's incredibly positive. And his defense tonight in the later stages, like everyone else's, was not great. And Roby plays in this game, 14 minutes, 40% from the floor, 6 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal and 3 blocks in this game as well. Roby played nice. But again, going back to Pokusevski. Now Mark has admitted that he's coached Pokusevski incredibly hard, and that he's been incredibly hard on Pokusevski more than other players. And he only plays 8 minutes tonight. And as far as Poku standards go, and of course, as far as standards of any NBA player goes, Pokusevski was under control tonight. He played a nice game. He shot 2 of 4 from the floor, 2 rebounds, an assist, a steal, a block, 4 points, all in 8 minutes of basketball. And even without Josh Giddey, even without Derek Favors, even without Kenny Hustle, even without Mike Muscala, Pokusevski found 8 minutes of action while playing particularly well. While teams are willingly not guarding Darius Bazley, who played 25 minutes. It just doesn't make sense, the rotation in this game specifically. The rotation that missed 4 key pieces of it. 2 of your better rotational players, 2 of your better players in general this year, and consistent players have been Kenny Hustle and Mike Muscala. They were gone. Josh Giddey, who's gotten a bulk of the minutes, is gone. Derek Favors has bounced in and out of that starting group and is still important, but has fluctuated in that rotation, I'll admit, was gone. And Pokusevski gets 8 minutes. Maldon gets 7. Deck and Vic Ritchie don't even play at all. That's kind of where you're at. And there's rumors swirling that Deck's not going to be in Oklahoma City for very much longer, which makes sense because the signing of him never made sense at all. That's where you're at. Today was a frustrating loss, but again, with the reverse standings and the tanking, it doesn't really matter. But I understand some frustration about the Darius Bazley thing in this instance. I think that Bazley in general has gotten a bad rap and has gotten kind of criticized too much. They kind of overcorrected on that. But tonight, frustration is surely more on Mark than Darius Bazley, who I've also said is the best coach in the Thunder history. But everybody has kind of some decisions that you can quibble with a little bit. It doesn't matter. Wins and losses don't matter at all this year. In fact, losses kind of help more, especially against the Rockets. But nonetheless, bet of the day, Thunder, -3, did not hit. Moneyball pick was Lou Dort. That did hit. Lou Dort led the team in 3-pointers made. MVP of this game was SGA. And again, the Thunder play tonight against the Memphis Grizzlies. To wrap up the week, let me know what you think on Twitter at Rylan_Styles or in the comment section down below about Darius Bazley and Pokusevski in that closing lineup. Let me know what you think about the Memphis game. Can they get a quick turnaround and snap this losing streak, or will it continue? And how long will this continue? And where do you think the Thunder will end the year standings-wise? All that needs to be told to me from you on Twitter, the email, in comment section down below. However you choose to get that info to me, do it. We'll see you tomorrow after the Grizzlies game. It's Locked on Thunder, the Locked on Thunder podcast, your teams every single day. Thunder basketball every single day for free on all platforms. Subscribe for free anywhere you get podcasts from. And until tomorrow, be good and be good to one another.